Okay, welcome everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo, and this was the last video of the regular season. We had 4 games. I'm not going to go into too much depth in each game like I usually do, just because there were some of these games weren't close. The Chicago game looks closer by the score than it was. New York kind of sat everybody towards the end. So, but I want to point out there. Maddie Westbeld had a great game. She had a career high. Let's see here, how many points she got. Scroll down here. Yeah, Maddie Westbeld. Let's see here. She had 25 points, 7 rebounds. She shot 8 for 12, 66%, and 5 for 6 from 3. You can see right there. So just, wanted to point that one out. Cardoso was 10 for 15. So Chicago, they went out with dignity. Let's put it that way. They shot 50%, 42% from 3. So, for a team that didn't have anything to, anything to gain but pride, or play for pride, my hat's off to Chicago. They did well. So, that's a good way to end the season. So New York gets the win 91-86, and they ended up with the same record as the Phoenix Mercury. They were both 27-17, and they are the 4 and 5 spots in the playoffs. And you know what? You got to hand it to Dallas too. Both Chicago and Dallas played great for their last game of the season with nothing to play for. So good for them. And everybody had double-digit wins. Dallas was the last team with only single-digit wins. They had 9, so this got them their 10th. So Chicago and Dallas end up with 10 wins, and Connecticut ends up with 11. So I think Dallas was still last in the standings from tiebreakers and stuff. But then we had Minnesota and the Valkyries. The Valkyries needed to win, and they played quite poorly, actually. Well, I shouldn't say that. They shot poorly. So, they only scored 53 points against Minnesota, so they were going to match up against them. Had they won, they'd have been the 6th seed and gone to Atlanta. So, maybe they figured we'd rather stay here and not have to travel and just play Minnesota again. So, I don't know. I'm sure they tried to win, but it was a very poor shooting night for the Valkyries. So Minnesota finishes off the season 34-10. Great season for Minnesota. So they are the number 1 seed in the playoffs, and they will be facing the Valkyries. And then we had the last game of the day was the Aces, and they kept their winning streak going. 103-75 over the Sparks. The Sparks had already been eliminated in the last game when the Storm won. So this didn't mean, Vegas probably wanted to keep their streak going because they played their starters the whole way, right up until the end, which, who knows. The Phoenix game, you had Phoenix play Dallas. Phoenix did not play. I'm going to look at their box score. I saw most of the game, but I didn't see the beginning. So let me see if anybody got any minutes here. Yeah, they did play. But Alyssa Thomas only played 13 minutes. Satu Sabali played 19. Let's see who else. Copper played 17. So they went into this knowing that their position in the playoffs wasn't going to change. So, Sammy Whitcomb played 12, Akoa Makani played 16. So they just played their whole bench, and I don't think they cared one way or another. whether they won this game or not. And, hats off to Dallas. Let's see who we had. Let's see here. We had Beckers with 24 points. Okonkwo had 20 points. Isaiah James, good game for her. She had 20 points. And then Segrist had 10. So, that was a good way to go out for Dallas. And it didn't really mean anything to Phoenix, but they did play their starters a little bit just to keep them fresh. But they're going to be playing New York. So I want to go into, they've now released the brackets. So we're going to see who's playing who, what day, what time. Everybody's playing Sunday. So we got 4 playoff games on Sunday. So there's going to be a lot to go over then. So here's how the brackets are laid out. This year, as you'll notice, we are not going to get a repeat, no matter what, of the finals from last year because New York and Minnesota are on the same side of the bracket. So they're going to be, if they do meet up, it's going to be in the semis, not in the finals. So that's, I guess, I don't know. I mean, no one would have thought that would happen, but, New York lost a lot of games. They had too many injuries. So that affected where they were placed, and they were 5th. So they're going to end up going up against the Mercury to start. I'm not sure what their head-to-head... well, they've got to be... the Mercury must have a positive win ratio against the Liberty because they have the same record, and the Mercury got the 4th seed. So... I'll have to look at that and see it must be like 3-1 or something. And then we have the Lynx against the Valkyries. Both of these games are going to be played on Sunday. I'll have to look. There's another thing that tells all the times. So then you have so this will be in the one bracket, and then our other bracket has the Aces going up against the Storm, and the Atlanta Dream going up against the Fever. So that's 2 versus 7 and 3 versus 6. So both of these games are going to be, all 4 of these games are probably going to be so exciting. And, who knows? I mean, the higher seed should probably win. Although the Mercury and the Liberty could go either way. Now that New York is fully healthy. They haven't been healthy the whole year, except for maybe the first couple games. So they are 3-game series. They start on Sunday. Let me see if I can pull up the times. I know I saw that on another site. So I found it. It was just a little further down on the under the bracket. It has the schedule. So the Valkyries are playing the Lynx at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm here in Northern California, so I get these time zones. So that would be 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then the Fever and the Dream play next. They're at 12. I'm loving it that they're, you basically can just go from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. all day, and you can watch every single game. That's phenomenal. I'm glad they're not playing them all at the same time, which that's great. And that's going to be great for viewership, too, because everybody will be able to watch every game. And they should be good ones. They should all be good ones. So noontime for the Fever and the Dream, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Then we have the Liberty and the Mercury at 2 o'clock, which is 5 o'clock Eastern time. And then the Storm and the Aces play at 7, which is 10 o'clock Eastern time. That's a bummer for the East Coast. I used to live on the East Coast. It was always way late for the late games. One of the benefits of having being here on the West Coast, you can get to see everything, and it goes all. You don't have to wait till the afternoon for stuff to start. So, anyway, all of these games should be just great. All the teams are going to be leaving it all on the court, and who doesn't love to see that? So it's my prediction. You're going to see the Aces beat the Storm. But I think it's going to be tough. The Storm's going to give them a battle. I think the Liberty are going to beat the Mercury. With them being healthy now, that's going to be my pick for game one. We'll see how the series goes, but I think New York might take the first game. And then the Fever and the Dream, this one, the Fever have been playing pretty well, but the Dream, here's my prediction. If the Dream hit their threes, they win. If they don't, they lose. That's my prediction. Unless they go into Brittany Griner and Bree Jones. If they use that advantage, they can win either way. But they tend not to. I'm a big I'm in Northern California. I'm big on the Valkyries, but I can't see them beating the Lynx unless they shoot phenomenally. If they shoot threes, great, they have a chance. But as you saw, if you saw the game the other day, they shot horribly and lost by, the Minnesota pulled away in the fourth, but it was actually only 6 points. So in the third, and then they just couldn't hit anything. So it's all going to come down to who shoots better. And, the Valkyries can be in it if they shoot well. So, but it's going to be defense. These are the two top defensive teams. Scoring-wise, they are the two top defenses. So we'll see. Anyway, it should be exciting. I'm so looking forward to these playoffs. I hope you all are. And I'd also like to thank everybody for, if you've watched my channel before, appreciate it. Those of you that have subscribed, it's been a labor of love for me because I just love basketball. And, I'm going to be following each one of these games through the playoffs and hope that you'll continue to watch along and enjoy with me. And appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. And let's get to it. Sunday, here we come. Okay, thanks for watching.